So today we're going to be going over 10 pure Parfum fragrance flankers that I personally think are 10 out of 10, completely perfect. At this point, Parfum flankers, Parfum editions are some of my favorites overall. And the reason why is because it's kind of a progression to get there. You start off with an eau de toilette, usually. From there, maybe you'll get an eau de parfum, then you'll get an eau fraiche, and then maybe you'll get a parfum concentration. Maybe in that order, maybe in something different. But the parfum is usually further on down the line. And sometimes you'll even get a parfum, and then it goes beyond. They do another flanker, but it's also a parfum. But for me, it's kind of like they see what's working and they continue to improve it. They make the scent richer, stronger, more interesting, and then that's kind of where you land with that parfum flanker. So I really enjoy them a lot. And if you kind of were to look across my videos, my lists, you see a lot of parfums, and that's a reason for that. I also really like how they wear on my skin. You know, I'm not someone that really is looking for super strong projection in terms of distance. I really don't need that. I don't have that desire. What I like is scent trail, but I also do really like great longevity. If I'm going to be paying a lot of money for something, I want to get good performance out of it. And parfums are kind of in that same type of category as well. Have really good long-lasting power, but they also leave a nice trail. And so we're going over 10 of them today. I'll drop links to them down below for you so you can pick them up. I also have a mailing list you can sign up to, as well as a text notification list. If you hit the first link down below, throw in your email, or you can send a text to the number down below. And anytime something rare, discontinued, or hard to find comes into stock, or some great restocks show up, I send out a notification. Just a day or two ago, we had DIOR on Parfum, Stronger With You Absolutely, MANCERA, Tonka Cola, a lot of great ones dropped all at once kind of. So make sure you're on that list so you can take advantage of that as well. Let's get it kicked off with a MANCERA, but not Tonka Cola. That's an eau de parfum. This one is Intense CEDRAT, which is a parfum concentration. And it is what I believe, I guess, is the first MANCERA flanker officially. Pretty cool. And I think this is the perfect one to start with. CEDRAT is kind of one of the ones that really got the hype train rolling for MANCERA. Don't get me wrong, they have a lot of other very popular ones as well, Red Tobacco, Oud Lemon Mint, but I think this one overall reaches the most amount of people, at least the original eau de parfum. The Intense isn't as popular yet, but I think it will get there. It's not a whole lot more expensive than the EDP. You might think it is, but it's not. When this one is in stock on discounters, it's right at $100 for 120 ml, and that's not a whole lot more than the eau de parfum, maybe $10 more, somewhere around that range. So really, price point is not an issue when you want to step up to the parfum. It's going to be a matter of smell. You know, this one is a little bit richer, it's heavier, it's stronger, it's better performing. An ever so slight amount of oud in here, but not a lot at all. The scent DNA is really brought to the next level, and I love it. If I had to choose between the two, I would take the Intense any day. We'll go with Armani Code Parfum up next. Man, this one is really good. It's got vanilla, tonka, and a good dose of iris in here. And anything that has iris immediately catches my attention. So this one did when it came out. I got it in and it turned out to be really good. You know, it's not to the point where it smells redundant if you have a lot of other iris scents. This is still very much Armani Code, simply with an iris twist, which is something that, aside from Armani Code Absolute, we don't really have, or Armani Code Absolute Gold is what I meant to say. That one does feature iris, not a ton of it, and that whole DNA kind of shifts further away from the original code. But this is still maintaining that code EDT DNA, but with a refined, modernized twist with the addition of that iris. It's a really good one. Next up, we have Amber Oud EXCLUSIF BLEU by Amber Oud. Very weird thing that happened with these, but this is a parfum, and this is a clone of Layton. This is a premium clone of Layton. Now, Alharamain Detour Noir is a fantastic Layton clone. That's right around $35, 100 ml, fantastic. One of the best out there. This one is close to double the price, and so what makes it double the price? It does smell of higher quality. It does even have better performance. This is truly a clone that is available if you want the best of the best. Now, when you compare this to the price of Layton, there's still a ginormous gap. So it's more expensive than Detour Noir. It's not your typical cheapy clone, but it still isn't expensive in comparison to the real deal here. If you're on a budget, go Detour Noir. If you want the most premium, high-quality Layton clone available on the market, go with this one. Acqua di Gio Parfum, a brand new release that is already getting thrown into the 10 out of 10 category. And the reason why is because it smells very similar to something that is already a 10 out of 10 for me. Acqua di Gio Profumo, which is a Parfum, and that could have been in here, but it is discontinued. I rather feature the new one. And so this is kind of what it is. It's already making lists because there isn't a whole lot of a difference between the two. There are some, and one of those differences is the grassy green opening that you may not like from Profumo is dialed back in the Parfum. It's not completely gone, but it is dialed back extensively. And so for me, that was one of my least favorite parts of Profumo. That one shines in the dry down. The opening I can completely do without and skip entirely. This one they do kind of help to solve that issue a little bit. Another thing is that they're introducing a little bit of olibanum here, and so it kind of has a little bit more of a different variety of a smokiness rather than the incense. The patchouli is coming through, and ultimately it's a bit more refined, a bit more brought back to life in comparison to Profumo. And I even compared it a little bit to Profumo Special Blend in my first impressions video. That's kind of what it reminded me of. And that one, supposedly they're using a different type of patchouli. I'm not saying that they're doing that here, probably not. But that refined, more smooth take on the DNA is what reminded me of that and what made me draw the comparisons between the two. Ultimately, you don't have to be sad that Profumo is discontinued because now you can get the Parfum. This is actually one that came into stock on Fragrance Buy. I sent out an email, sent out a text each time. Make sure you're on that list. AZZARO, the most wanted Parfum version. It's got bourbon, vanilla, there's some ginger, woody notes, 3 notes, but hey, that's really all you need with this one. I really like it. It's got an interesting grape soda fizzy opening, which is very strange when you consider the DNA. So that immediately sets it apart from everything else within the wanted line. Think of the opening of Dunhill Icon. That's kind of how this one smells off the top. But then it changes gears pretty quickly as you move into the mid and dry down. Start picking up on a little bit of a booziness from the vanilla, a little bit of a spicy kick from the ginger. The ginger is also off the top, kind of giving it that fizziness. And then the woods coming through. A lot of sweetness as well. There's got to be a tonka bean in here and some other of your typical notes. They're just not listing them off. It's a little bit gourmand. It's very sweet, a little bit seductive and mysterious as well. It's a fantastic one for fall and winter time. It's one of my favorites in the line, right there next to Wanted by Night. Next up, we'll go with Polo Red Parfum. So we've got a lot of flankers of this one. This is the newest. It's got blood orange, lavender, and a Papanax. We're out of focus here. I think we were that whole time. A little bit smoky, a little bit resinous. Does have a nice bright opening off the top from that blood orange. A little bit aromatic. It's the Polo Red DNA, and so it does have that kind of, young, playful sweetness to it. However, when you stack it up against the original, the Eau de Parfum, something like Polo Red Remix, this one is much more interesting, and I think it's going to be a lot more attractive to the enthusiast. And I think maybe that's kind of what they are trying to go for here a little bit. Not fully though, because again, it still is a Polo Red. Think of Polo Blue Parfum. That one using a lot of oak. It's more mature and more refined as well. It's a really good release also. Kind of doing a similar thing here with this one, just working that DNA into something that's even more mature and upscale. Narciso Rodriguez Bleu Noir Parfum is a fantastic iris scent, but it's an iris take on a fresh DNA. So the Bleu Noir lineup has a lot of musk and cedarwood and things like that. And they're using a nice dusty powdery iris over top, which gives this one an incredible amount of versatility because you have the woods and then you have the sweet iris. So really, as long as you are conscious with your sprays, you can wear this pretty much any time of year. Summer's going to be the only time you might struggle. I think if you're indoors, it's not going to matter at all. If you're outdoors, just limit your sprays, or you could just choose something different. But for a lot of people who maybe do work inside or spend a lot of time inside throughout the summertime, you can still pull this one off easily. And if you go outside for a little while, it's not going to get so sweet all of a sudden that it completely drowns everything out, you know, like maybe some other winter scents would. You're not going to have that issue here. It's a nice balanced out scent overall. It's for someone who doesn't want to go head first into something super sweet like Dior Homme Intense, something very lipsticky and makeup bag smelling. It's a great starting point. Stronger With You, absolutely. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to get, but it is one of my favorites, and it is a fantastic Parfum flanker. Easily my favorite one of the line. And the reason why is because it introduces some of the kind of boozy accords, some rum, but it does still have that chestnut, the tonka, and just that general kind of Stronger With You DNA, but with a different twist. It's more mature than the others, but it still is a mature scent. So, you know, it still maintains that playful smell. It doesn't go away. But if you compared it to pretty much everything else, it's a step above the rest. You know, also something like Stronger With You Oud kind of does a similar thing and kind of backing off from that sweetness a little. But, you know, I think this one is a great balance of still having a lot of mass appeal, but with a different twist overall. It's another one that just sells out all the time. Here in the US and Canada, it just isn't made readily available for whatever reason, but each time it comes in stock, I do send out an email, send out a text. If you're on those lists, it really isn't that hard to get. Sauvage ELIXIR. So this is kind of one I was alluding to at the beginning of the video, because we already have a Sauvage Parfum. You know, we went through the paces. We've got the EDT, we have the Eau de Toilette Very Cool Spray, we have the Eau de Parfum, we have the Parfum. It doesn't stop there because they came out with this one a couple years back now. And again, it's a Parfum concentration. It is incredibly strong, but it is really good. It is by far the most gentlemanly, mature, refined, expensive smelling Sauvage on the market. And it really kind of gets away from that blue fragrance overall trend. This focuses all on the warm spices. I don't even know if I can list them all off the top of my head. Nutmeg, cinnamon, pink pepper. This isn't a warm spice, but there's a lot of sandalwood. And I'm missing some. Licorice is in here as well, and there's more, I'm pretty sure. Warm spices and woods. That is what this one is all about. And so if you're looking for something like that, this is one you should go for. If you don't like Sauvage, you don't like any of them, this is one that you might actually like because it doesn't smell like any of the other ones. And last up, we have Versace Eros Parfum. It is the Eros that I would choose most times. It really, but anymore, is between this and Flame. Flame uses a lot of orange, lemon off the top. It's more of a creamy aromatic version, which I really like. That one's nice for mildly warm weather, not a summer scent by any means, but those warmer spring days, those warmer fall days. And I'll go Eros Parfum in the winter time, or just the generally colder days overall, because it is sweeter, it's heavier. But the Parfum, in comparison to the EDT and the EDP, is, again, I hate to keep saying this, but it's a trend with the Parfums. It's more refined. It's basically, it's worked out all the kinks. It's more smooth. It's also stronger. The Eau de Toilette over the years has been rumored to have been watered down, reformulated, etc. And so if you have an issue with that version, go for the Parfum. Don't bother buying the EDT or even the EDP anymore in 2023. Just get the Parfum version. And if you want another one, get Flame. These are the two you really should have if you do want Eros. It's hard to beat the Eau de Toilette DNA, don't get me wrong. It's a nostalgic one. I still have a giant 200 ml bottle. It smells great. But when you're talking about putting your money into places that is going to get you the most in return, I think the Eros Parfum would be the way to go. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 pure Parfum fragrance flankers that I would give a 10 out of 10. I think these are perfect. Links will be down below. And again, deals and restocks will be going out to my mailing list and my text list as well. Hit the first link down below, sign up, and you can send a text to the number down below and sign up there as well. And then you kind of get a double notification so you don't miss out on anything. There's going to be a lot of stuff dropping here soon, and maybe right now as you're watching this video. So get on those lists and stay tuned. You don't want to miss it, I promise. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.